Now, I'm not telling anybody to jump out and act foolish. I'm not telling anybody to disrespect white people, to call them names, because that's fear. Okay? What we need to do is to sit back and say we are afraid to go further, because that is the truth. And as long as there is fear, you will not pull together the behavior that is going to mean a confrontation. As long as there is fear, there's not even going to be self-respect. Because the brain understands that if you're moving towards self-respect, if you're really moving towards self-respect, if you're really moving towards pride, that anybody who says you can't stand up, anybody who says your little children cannot develop, will have to be stopped.
Dr. Frances Cress Welsing developed theories that focus on the psychological impact of white supremacy on Black America. Central to her ideas is the belief that Black people have been conditioned to fear challenging white supremacy, leading to a negative self-image and a reluctance to assert their full humanity. Welsing argued that this fear stems from centuries of oppression, where the dominant white power structure has systematically instilled a sense of inferiority in Black people. According to Welsing, this fear and self-doubt prevent Black Americans from fully challenging the system of white supremacy. Instead, many become dependent on this oppressive system for their survival, accepting the limitations it imposes rather than seeking true liberation. She contended that for Black people to develop and reach their full potential, they must be willing to relinquish all the benefits and securities that white supremacy has provided. Only by doing so can they break free from this psychological grip and build a future grounded in self-reliance and true independence. Welsing's theories emphasize the importance of controlling these deep-seated fears and dependencies to achieve genuine empowerment and progress as a people.
So the brain understands if I allow you to develop the patterns of behavior that are going to really mean self-respect, you're going to be in trouble. You are going to be in trouble. Women know it, men know it, and children know it. And I say that we are going to have to see very, very clearly that we are at war, and the price one pays for development under the conditions of war is very often a price that we don't even like to think about, but it's a necessary price. And if people do not think about paying that price, even as ugly as that thought may be, if they don't think about paying that price, there will be nothing that we develop. We will not develop the education of our children. We will not develop our neighborhoods. We will not clean up our streets. We will not be courteous and respectful to one another. We will keep having conferences and meeting and talking about what we ought to be doing, but we will not do those things that are necessary to be done. And I say that we have to think about these things consciously. Every Black person has to think about, do I love my Black self enough to give my life for myself? See, but there's not a lot of enthusiasm about that. See, and I understand that, because I'm afraid too. Okay? I am afraid too. But I know that unless those thoughts are properly lined up in the brain, yes, I love myself enough that I am willing to sacrifice for my own development and for the development of everybody that looks like me. If I can't say that, then I cannot go on to any other level of behavior. And I say that as far as I am concerned is the first level of functioning within the struggle unit, where if a man and a woman get together and they bring a child into the world, when the first thing that child is able to hear is that mommy and daddy are oppressed. And the reason that mommy and daddy are sitting here talking to you is because mommy and daddy were afraid to do anything else. But we're going to try to get over that fear. We are going to struggle with you to try to get over that fear. And we know what we are up against. Daddy cannot expect to live if he ever gets over the fear. Maybe mommy can't live, and maybe you won't live either. And we understand that. But that is what we're going to move against. And I talk to black women all the time about what they say to their sons. And they tell me all the time, I'll not raise a baby for anything to happen to him. I'll not raise, not my baby. There's that baby again, not my baby. And I don't want anything to happen to my big baby either. Okay? Because I want him around for personal attention and material entertainment. Okay? Because that is really what we want. And if we examine deep within the recesses of our brains, there are very few people who are projecting being in a wooden box. We are projecting on having things and buying things and doing things. And if we have things and buy things and do things within the context of what we have been programmed to know about, to understand, it means that we have to keep the system intact of those people who make those things. And so I say that while we're also in the survival unit stage, we have to think about these two questions. I ask people, think about the two questions I call them the only valid black IQ questions. How many people want to see white supremacy domination go away tomorrow morning? Let me see a show of hands. Okay, question number 2, 50% so far. How many people want to see white supremacy go away tomorrow morning and take everything it has made? So that means that the meeting tomorrow morning will take place and everybody's going to be naked. And everybody's going to be outside, and there's going to be no toilets and no toilet paper. Okay? Now that kind of, if we think about that, and no hot water either. Okay? And none of the things that we really define ourselves in terms of. See, we define ourselves in terms of what we wear, what we do, what we're planning to do. And all of that's going to be gone. And the brain, see, you can fool me, but you can't fool your brain. Your brain knows what you're thinking about for tomorrow morning. And your brain knows what you're thinking about for next week and what is the highest priority. See, I don't want to be without a toilet tomorrow. I'm not ready for that. I am not ready for a toilet being away from here tomorrow. I'm not ready for no stockings and no shoes. So I always kind of know where I am. But I know I need to get ready for that. Because otherwise, I will not unleash the people that make those things. I'm holding on to them because I got to have what they make. And I don't think I can make what I need myself. Now this is, to me, getting down into the nitty-gritty of this box. in realizing that you cannot play with 400 years of conditioning. Another thing that has taken place within the survival unit stage of our oppression is that black children are still learning. If you're black, stay back. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. And if you're white, you're all right. Okay, I can go into any public school and ask the little children that. I can probably go in some freedom schools and ask them. Okay, and how do the children learn that? They don't learn it because it's on their genes. They learn it because their parents teach them. And the parents can teach them that at the same time that they're talking about black nationalism and black pride. There was a test done, a research project done on black children last year. And they gave the children a list of complexion colors like black, dark brown, light brown, very light. And then they gave them a list of phrases like daddy's favorite color is. And see, the little children just, they know. Like black, dark brown, light brown, very light. And then they gave them a list of phrases like daddy's favorite color is. And see, the little children just, they know. What did they check? Light brown, very light. Mommy's favorite color is light brown, very light. The person I'd like most for my friend, light brown, very light. The person I'd like to marry, light brown, very light. The person most likely to be a criminal, black. Now that's what we're teaching. My office is right down the hall from the nursery at the hospital. Do black people want to know, does a baby have 5 fingers and 5 toes? Is that the first thing they want to know? That's right. Somebody said it. What color is it? And does it have straight hair? Okay. I took a picture with a group of teachers yesterday and talking about the concept and self-image of black children. That was the topic of the discussion, but the discussion hadn't come yet. And we were sitting around, and the principal at the school had a Polaroid camera and said, well, we'll take a picture of you, Dr. Welsing, and the teachers. And so we sat around the table, and the picture came out, and before one of the teachers realized it, she said, why did I have to come out so black? You see what I'm saying? But that's not just that lady, that's everybody.